Hey Sean, how are you today?
Good, how are you?
I'm pretty good. So today I need your help. Do you think you can help me with something?
Yes.
So I know that you like baking, right? We've
Mm-hmm.
talked about it before. We share our recipes. So I found this really good recipe that I thought you would like. It's for apple cake. I know you like apples and cake, so it's fall. I thought we could make apple cake. But the problem is the recipe calls for 355 grams of flour. And I only have 90 grams.
Mm-hmm.
So I was wondering if you could help me figure out how much flour that I need to buy at the store.
Okay.
Yeah, you think you could?
Yeah.
So I'm going to write it down as a subtraction problem. We haven't really done subtraction before, but it's this new math function that I thought might be helpful for you because you like baking. So when we write it down, we'll do 355 minus 90. What's 5 minus 0? Do you know?
5.
It's 5. Good job. Now, here's where we have a problem. Can you take 9 away from 5?
No.
No, you can't because 5 is a smaller number than 9. But what we can do is use our base 10 blocks.
Mm-hmm.
So each of these represents 100. So we have 3 of those. And then we're going to have our 10s. We have 5 of those. Our 10 blocks are pink. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we're going to have our 1s. We have 5 1s. Those are yellow. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So now what we're going to do is put our 9, 10 rods down here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we have our 9, 10 rods down here and our 5 up here. So 9 is bigger than 5, so we can't take 9 away from 5. But this is what we can do. So when we're looking at our problem, we can go over here to the hundreds place. We can cross that 3 out and we can make it a 2.
Mm-hmm.
And we can rename this 5 right here in the tens place. And we can take from our hundreds. Do you know how many tens are in 100, Sean?
10.
10, right, because we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So what could we trade this hundreds block for?
10 tens.
10 tens, good job. So we could take this and we could trade it in for 10 tens. Okay, so now we have our tens. So instead of having 5 tens, how many tens would we have?
Well.
Oh, on our big number. So we go from 300s to 200s.
Mm-hmm.
And then how many tens would we have up here? We went from 5. So we'd have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, plus our 10 new ones.
No, it'd be 15.
15.
Yeah.
So now let's take 9 away from 15. What would we get?
Still can't take. It'd be 6.
Right, it'd be 6.
Yeah.
Good job. So we put our 6 down here. And then we'll go to our hundreds place. We have our 2 hundreds blocks. Do we have any hundreds blocks in our second number?
No.
No. So what would we get? 2 minus 0 would be?
2.
2. So my recipe calls for 355 grams of flour. I only have 90. And together we found out that we would need 265 grams of flour.
Nice.
For our recipe. It's pretty good, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that process we just did is called subtraction. And subtraction is when you take one number away from another. And you'll use it a lot in baking because a lot of the times we'll be short on ingredients. So we could be short on flour, we could be short on sugar, we could be short on a lot of ingredients, and you'll have to use subtraction to figure out how much more you need so that you can make sure your recipe turns out well. So, today we're going to do some more subtraction. You think that would be fun?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. So, the first thing we're going to do is I'm going to show you a couple subtraction problems, and I'm going to use the base 10 blocks to show you how to solve them. Sound good? You okay, Sean?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay.
Have to call.
So, we'll start with something That's not super easy, but maybe a smaller number. So we'll start with 100. So how many hundreds blocks will that be?
That's just one, right?
Right, 100. So we'll start with 120. How many tens rods would that be?
2.
2. Good job. 20, and then we'll do 4. So we'll do 4 ones. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we're going to try to take away 19.
Okay.
So how many tens would we have?
You would have 1 10.
Right, and then how many ones?
9 ones.
Yeah, good job. So we would have 9 ones. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start in my ones place. When we do subtraction, we always start in the ones place. So I see I have 4 ones and I'm trying to take away 9. But I realize that 9 is more than 4, so I can't take away.
Right.
So I can rename, just like we talked about up there.
Mm-hmm.
And I can take this tens rod and I can trade it in for 10 ones. So I'm going to take 1 tens rod away. My 2 tens becomes 1. And I can trade it for 10 ones. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So now I have 14 ones minus 9 ones. So I take away 9. Alright, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I take away 9. And how many am I left with?
5.
5. So in my ones place, I'm going to have 5. So I'm going to write down, add 1, 24, minus 19. I'm going to write down 5. Now what about in this tens place? I have 110 minus 110. So when I take that away,
It's 0.
it's 0. Good job. And then hundreds, I have 100. Do I have any hundreds in my second number?
No.
No. So 1 minus 0 is 1, which means my answer would be 100, 0 tens, 5 ones. So 105.
Yep.
Okay, so we're going to do another one where I show you how to do it, and then we're going to do a couple together. Sound good?
Yeah.
Okay. So the next problem I'm going to do is, write it in our notebook, 145 minus 54. Sound good?
Yep.
Okay, so first thing I'm going to do is set it up with my base 10 blocks. 100, so 100's board. 40, 4 tens rods. 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4 in my tens place. And then 5 ones. And there are my 5 ones. And then I'm going to set up my other number, which is 54. So 5 tens, 5 in the tens place. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And 4 in the ones place. So now I have 145 minus 54. So I've got my 5. And I'm going to take 4 away. So 1, 2, 3, 4. How many am I left with?
1.
1. Good job. But now, when I look here, I have 4, and I'm going to try to take away 5. Can I take away 5?
You can't.
No, I can't take away 5. So what I can do is I can take this 100, and I can trade it in for 10 tens rods, right?
Right.
So I'm going to trade that 100 in. I'm going to rename it from 100's board into 10 tens rods. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Right.
So now, instead of 4 tens, I end up with 14 tens. And I'm going to take away 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So now I'm going to count how many tens I have left after I do that. And I'm going to get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I'm going to have 9 in my tens place. And then I renamed that 100 into 10 tens. So I don't have anything in the hundreds, which means my answer is going to be 91. How do you feel about that?
Feel pretty good.
Pretty good? Is that making sense to you?
Yeah.
So can you tell me how many tens rods are in a 100 board?
There are 10 in a
Right.
100.
So if I cross out one of my hundreds and rename it into tens, how many tens rods would I take?
You would take 9.
9. How many tens are in a hundreds board?
10.
Right. So if I crossed out my hundreds board and traded in for tens rods,
Oh, you would have 10.
I would have 10. Good
Yeah.
job. And how many
Tricky.
ones are in a tens rod?
There are there are 10 in a 10
There are
rod.
10 in a tens rod.
100
Good.
and a 100 board.
Right, good job, Sean. So there are 10 in a tens rod. So if I wanted to rename one of my tens into ones, how many ones would I take?
You would have 10 ones.
Right, good job. So I think you're ready. We're going to try and do some of these together instead of me leading the way. I'm going to let you take over. What do you think?
Sounds good.
Sounds good? Okay. So now we're going to do another problem. Let's do 242 minus 31.
Okay.
Sound good?
Sounds good.
So, sometimes we don't have to rename.
Okay.
So, keep that in mind when you're doing this one. So, what I want you to do first is I think that we should use our tens blocks and make our number. What do you think?
Sounds good.
Okay, so I'm going to put all of our tens rods and hundreds boards and stuff in front of you.
Okay.
And I'm going to let you make our big number, which is 242. We
Okay.
have some extra ones.
All right. So make the big number.
Mhm.
Okay. So you have the hundreds.
Right, and how
boards.
many hundreds boards did you put out?
2.
Good job.
And then now we have the tens numbers. That's going to be 4 of the tens.
Right, and what place is that in?
The tens.
The tens place. Good job.
And then we have 2 for the ones place.
Nice.
Yep. Now we have 242.
242. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is start in our ones place, right?
Right.
And how many are we taking away from our ones place?
You're taking away 1.
Can we take 1 away from 2?
You can.
All right, can you do that for me? All right, what do you think we should do next?
Well, we can take away 3 from
Mhm.
4.
And
so
what place is that in?
The tens.
Right, we go to the tens place next, so take those away.
Cool.
And then do we have any hundreds?
No.
No, so what number are we left with?
2.
Right, so we have 200
Oh,
and
211.
11. So
Yeah.
our answer would be 211. Did we have to rename for that?
No, we didn't.
No, we didn't. All right, so let's do another problem. 225 minus 54. Sound good?
Sounds good.
Okay, what should we do first?
Make the big number.
We should make the big number. Go ahead and make that with our
So,
blocks.
is it okay if I use what's left up here?
Yeah, you can add on to it. So how many do you have in the hundreds place?
I have 200
Okay, in the hundreds.
boards. Yeah. Then right here, we're
Mhm.
going to make the 20. So that's going to be 2 of the 10s. So now you
Right.
have 220. We already have a 1 and the 1, so we're going to add in 4 to make that 225.
Okay.
So 1, 2, 3. That's 5 right there.
Nice.
So that's 225.
Okay. And now what are we going to do first for our subtraction?
We're going to look at the ones place.
Okay. And how many do we need to take away from the ones place?
We need to take away 4,
Okay.
and we can do that.
We can do that. And how many would we have left?
1.
All right. Can you write that down for me?
Yep.
Now what are we going to do?
Now we're going to go to the tens place.
Okay.
But this is where we have to rename.
Right. Good job.
Yeah. So essentially what we're going to do is take one of these 100 blocks,
Mm-hmm.
put it away.
Okay. And what are we going to trade that in for?
I'm going to trade it in for 10 little 10 blocks.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's 3.
Okay.
Let's see. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
All right. And
Now-
now what are we going to do?
Now we're going to take away 5.
Okay.
So now I'm just going to take away 5 of these that I put over there.
And how many do you have left?
I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I have 8.
8. All right. So can you write 8 down there for me?
Yep.
And then how many hundreds do we have left?
We have 1 left.
All right. So what would our number in the hundreds place be?
It would be 1.
Right. So what's our answer?
181.
181. Good job, Sean.
Thank you.
Okay, I think you're doing really, really well with this. You're using our vocabulary really well, our hundreds place, our tens place, and our ones place. You know what renaming is, and you know how many to use when you're renaming. So I think it's time that you try something on your own. What do you think?
Sounds good.
Sounds pretty good?
hmm
Okay, so here's a worksheet for you. It's only 5 questions, just to see what you know. No big deal, no pressure.
Okay.
So if you want, you can go ahead and use all of our hundreds blocks
Okay.
and stuff to finish that worksheet.
Okay. I know.